Just a second. Okay. So this is our topic today, and the agenda is very short, but don't be surprised. I hope you will have questions. How to avoid problems with the service structure in the long run? This is the main question, and then questions and answers. So you're going to ask me what problems you faced, what issues you have in the CMS interface, in the structure, what is not maybe working or working not properly. Okay, so first of all, how to avoid the problems with the service structure in the long run. Not when you're launching your service. When you're doing it the first time, you're probably just creating users, adding units wherever you see it. And then in the future, you are having problems, or you may have problems with some of the services. So what I suggest to first check the blog. This is a short article that will help you to understand the concept behind the hierarchy. It's pretty good. It was written by Oleg. My colleague, Oleg Zharkovsky, wrote this article. And it's short. It's, I think, intuitive, so you can check it out. And then there is a list of like bullet points that are good to consider before you start building your structure. First, we always recommend to have one separate account for each customer. Maybe it's not very good to create users inside of your whole service for each customer. So you have a company, let's call it factory number one, and then you just create a user in your top account and add units to the same account, or right now it's not possible, by the way. Technically not possible to create units in the top account. Then you're having a problem that this user has access to everything that you have yourself. So if you create a user in the top account, you give this user an opportunity to see all the modules, to use all the features that you have yourself, which is not good in most cases, because you want to limit the possibilities, you want to limit the features, you want to hide the tools that are not necessary for the end user. So this is a good rule to create one customer. And when you create one customer, to create a separate account, because an account helps you to limit this access, to limit the features. Create and store customers' units in their own accounts. Another rule that helps you to avoid problems with the history, again in the long run, and also to avoid access rights problems. If you keep all the units in the upper account somewhere, then you may just get lost in all of those units, and understanding who has access to this or that group of units, to this or that particular unit. When you keep everything inside one account, you can just keep track of that. In the CMS interface, you have filters to find all the units that belong to a certain account, which is pretty convenient. Do not create anything, no units, no reports, no geofences, no other elements of the system in the top account. Recently, we've introduced some limitation on the top account that does not allow you to create units. Probably you've seen that. Like, it was 5 months ago, if I'm not mistaken, or something like that. Right now, it's not possible. When you go to the CMS interface and try to create a unit in the top account, you cannot choose yourself. You cannot find the top account user. It's not possible anymore. It helped us to actually avoid some, again, access rights problems. So creation of the units is now restricted in the top account. And we also do not recommend to create anything else in the top account because there is no possibility to restore. Just imagine you created a report, you spent like a couple of hours adjusting a report, added it to the top account, and then by mistake delete it. There is no way to restore it. We cannot restore it, you cannot restore it. But if you create a report or a geofence or any other element of the system in a subordinate account, a little bit lower in the total hierarchy, then there is a possibility, there is a special button to restore everything. But we'll probably see it, I'll try to show it a little bit later. Next, create a couple of different billing plans and control services via them. It is pretty easy to control services or different features of the system through the billing plans. You create a couple of them only, add the set of services in the billing plans, and then if you need to change something, you go to the billing plan. You don't need to open any of the accounts one by one. You just go to the billing plan, change one option, and it affects all the accounts that are using this billing plan. So it's very convenient. Don't try to change the services in the account directly. If you do it one time, then you will need to do it always manually. There is no possibility to change it via the billing plan anymore. So be careful with that. Try not to change services settings. Okay, I've already told that. Use accounts for automated blocking and payment registration. Accounts are meant for that. They are meant to allow you automatically block access of all the users within an account and also allow you to register payment, add days, or add some balance, some money to the balance. It's pretty convenient as well. You can, for example, add 30 days and it will be blocked. The account will be blocked in exactly 30 days. There is no need to manually check it all the time. There is no need to manually block an account and all the users that are within this account. One peculiarity about this thing is that all accounts that are below a blocked account will be also blocked. So we have a vertical hierarchy, and everything that is below a blocked account is blocked as well. Use users to limit access rights toward units and resources. Users is an element of the system that allow us to manage access right toward different elements of the system, like units, reports, notifications, geofences, drivers, trailers, passengers, etc. So it's a good tool as well, and if you have in one company, if you have multiple users, you can limit their access toward different units, and for example, say that one user can execute commands, another cannot. Or one can manage units, delete them, change their names, see their connectivity settings, another cannot. So users used for access rights. Accounts are used for services, and for payments. Okay, so now let me probably, just a second, it should be some, yeah, okay. Show you the very basic concept of the structure. You might have seen something in the documentation. There it is a little bit more complicated, the scheme is a little bit more complicated. Here it's very simple, and this is what I came to after probably years of using Wialon, and mostly it is the only possible or working properly service structure. The top account, leave it for yourself. One person probably should use it, but it depends, of course, on the particular situation. Then you can create a sub-account to manage all other accounts. That will be your customers. Nothing else should be added here, probably. There is simply no need for that. The intermediate account should have dealer rights, because without these dealer rights, we cannot create customers' accounts. We cannot create any other accounts further. And here, in the sub-account, or in the manager's account, we can call it a manager's account in the quotes, of course, we can use this account for the support team. But one user is the best for everybody. So if you have multiple support specialists, it is still better to use one user, one login, one password, because that allows you to automatically get access to everything, to all the customers, without the need to provide access manually. If you add some more users to that account, you'll need to provide access manually every time. So that is not very convenient limitation, but this is how it works in Wialon. Okay, So now probably I'll, yes, sure.
I'm glad to hear now with this setup, and I wish on the sub account, at least I have, because of the number of different customers, if I have 2 or 3, let's say, managers who control that, you're saying that they have to use the same user access because I need to know who logged in, who logged out.
Yes, this is the problem. How to actually log all the activities of users. And if you're using one user, there is no such possibility, of course. If you use one password and log in, no possibility. And this is the problem. And it exists, unfortunately. And you need to choose. Either you log everything, or you add multiple users, and then have a problem with the access rights. Because there is, once again, always one user that have access by default to everything. So the first user you create in a sub-account, over here, the first user, let's call him admin. He gets access to everything, to all the customers' accounts, to all sub-accounts, and it doesn't matter how we fork this structure further. This user gets all the access rights. Then you add more users somewhere here at the same account, more and more and more, and they don't have anything. They don't have any access rights at all. They can see all the features. Yes, they can create reports, geofences, but for themselves, basically. And you will need to ask admin from that sub-account to give them access right toward all accounts you have under the manager's account. So if you have like 500 customers, you need to ask admin to provide access toward all 500 customers. So
can we do that with the SDK?
Yes, it is possible. You can provide access rights via SDK requests. Yeah, it's possible.
I want to know who the hell is logging in on what account. The other question I have is when we use billing plans, because we just had a nightmare, and there's no way now of fixing it. What happened was one of the users, we don't know who, changed the billing plan to a lower number of days, and by mistake put it on a top level account. Right?
Okay.
No warning, no nothing, until the customer called us and said, what happened to our data before April? And it's gone, and we can't resurrect it. I think if we're going to look at the hierarchy, so we followed a much more complex hierarchy than that, but anything that's affecting a change, like a billing plan with lower dates, it really should warn that that billing plan is going to do this, because it didn't say anything. No warning that the messages are being deleted, and Wialon deletes them. The problem was if it was one mass delete, we could have picked it up. But Wialon deletes it every day, 1 day at a time, until it gets you back to 90 days from your 365. So now the customer, or 4 customers this morning, are asking the same question: where's our data? I mean, we found the problem. So if that side of it, whenever there's anything that's hitting the hierarchy, I think the hierarchy is great. I mean, you manage it well. But anything that changes those rights, where it's going to delete stuff, we really should get a warning.
Maybe it's a good suggestion to somehow announce the changes for a customer, for a user whose billing plan has been changed. So I think we'll have a record of this session, and we'll pass this suggestion to our business analytics for further consideration. And as for the login, in terms of API, basically, there is a possibility to create separate tokens for every user. Call them whatever you want, like support specialist 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Each will have its own token. And when they do something, not from Wialon interface, not from CMS interface, when they will log in through this token, you will see specialist number 2 made these changes. Specialist number 3 made these changes. So it's another possibility, but not in the interface.
But creation of the hierarchy using the SDK, we can do that. Because like you said, if we create other users, we have to do that manually and assign the rights.
Exactly.
But can I do that with the APK?
You
Create a script that I can then use to create those access rights for everything below it.
Yes, it is possible. You can provide access rights to all the users, to all the customers that are below the manager's account. It is possible via API as well. But the point here is that you will still have a problem, at least one problem with the units creation. Who is going to create units in this structure? One person, multiple people will be creating multiple, or one person?
No, but we'll do that with the script. I mean, we can set up the scripts to do it, and then when the person has the rights for the script, then it'll run the script to modify all the accounts for that user below it.
Yes, but you will be modifying the access rights, as far as understood. But what about elements creation? Like, who's going to add units to the
Top-level admin.
Okay, so one person. Then it's okay, no problems. If one person is going to add units either from the top account, an admin from the top account, or from the subordinate account, then it's okay, it's fine. If multiple people are going to add units, then it's a problem again, because only one user can add units, and it is admin user. No one else can add units. Otherwise, you need to log in as an admin, and thus you lack logs. Because you log in as another user, and you see that this guy made it. So this is a problem. Okay, another question, maybe? No? No questions? Okay, everything is clear. Great, so let me just briefly show you that how we can build this structure. It's relatively simple. So I'm right now in the management interface. This is the top account study, and in the accounts tab we're working with accounts. Pretty straightforward. So we can create a new one. Let's call it manager customer. See, like that. And then as usual a password. My password is always very strong. So we've created a new account. To refresh the page, use the search button. This is my favorite button in the CMS interface, by the way. You don't need to reload the page all the time. We've created this account, but it's not a manager's account yet. It doesn't have access rights to create any subordinate accounts. Right now, it can create only users and units, for example, but not accounts. So we need to open its properties, navigate to the restrictions tab, and tick this little option, dealer rights. Once we've done it, we see an option to add billing plans. So I've created a couple of them already, and I can move them to that window on the right. Thus, I give a possibility for the manager customer C to use them for its own accounts, for its own subordinate accounts. Here, if you might have noticed, I didn't provide access to the top account billing plan. So it means that I don't give this possibility to the manager. I don't want it to create accounts with this top account, with this top billing plan, because it has all the features I have myself. So I don't want to share it. I keep it for myself. Click OK to save it, refresh the page one more time, and we now see that it has dealer rights. So now it can create sub-accounts. We can quickly check the current structure in the right top corner by clicking on the user menu, service hierarchy. It's a pretty useful tool, at least at the beginning. you see that the study is at the top. So it is level number 1 in the total hierarchy. Then it has 4 accounts enclosed, and we can check them. This is our manager's account. And there is one user right now with the same name, nothing else. So let's add another customer under the manager's account. I'm not leaving the top account as far as you can see. I can do it from that interface. Create another account. Customer C1, for example. And here I'm choosing the creator as the manager customer C. So I'm making this user the creator, and thus I place this customer C1 under the manager's account. So creator is the boss here. And then we can also see the list of billing plans is limited to what I first selected when I was creating the manager. And in the restrictions tab, I chose these 3 billing plans. So I can choose between them. I cannot choose even my own. So let it be, okay, let it be like that. Okay, search. So now the customer C1 appeared in the list, and we can check the structure one more time, service hierarchy. Again, 4 accounts, but now manager has 2 enclosed elements. And if we check them, there is one new account appeared, and it is customer C. So we now understand study is number 1, manager customer C is number 2, and customer C1 is number 3. So it basically resembles the structure I showed you. And again, this is a very basic approach. You can take this scheme and place it under any of the accounts and make a new fork. Hmm? Mm-hmm.
Let's assume that for some reason you make a mistake while creating an account, and you create it under the top account, and you'd like to move it under the manager customer C account. Does it have such a possibility to change the creator of account?
No, there is no possibility to change the creator of account. Glad to hear that you know the creator. You can. There are different tools to move the content of an account. You can move the units. There is a tool for that. Transferring tools can be performed from the units tab. Then there is an option to move the content of a resource, like reports, notifications, jobs, etc. But there is no way to take an account and place it somewhere else. There is no default tool for that in the interface. But if I'm not mistaken, there is a possibility to contact us and tell where you want to place this account, and we will try to move it.
The idea is that, as the way you explain it, under the top account, as a Wialon for local, for example, and study as a management account or support account. I would like to move all the accounts under the management account, not to be under the Wialon account.
I'm sorry, is this Wialon local or?
Yes, it is.
Wialon local. Not possible. For Wialon local, I'm sorry. For Wialon hosting, it is possible. We can take all the accounts and move them under a certain account.
Is there any consideration to have time-based access for users? So I've got a user, because we get this asked by all the large corporates. They are used to having a user and say, right, this user has access to his account for 3 hours. At the end of 3 hours, it terminates.
Not for 3 hours, of course. As I mentioned, there is a possibility in the accounts to add automated blocking, and it works only by days, so no hours option. But if you're using API, then
Okay,
yes,
we can
it's
do it
possible.
through the API.
Yes, it's possible. There is one request to block an account or block access for a user. There are 2 separate things. You can block an account, you can block a particular user within an account. And there are, of course, 2 separate requests for that.
The problem that the
Mm-hmm.
The same is tracking user. So to keep our customers' privacy, we need a user that only manage the content and creating units, but will not be able to track the log into the platform. It's the same. Yeah.
That one is pretty interesting.
Yes.
A person who needs to manage.
Yes, for our support team, they manage to create units, create accounts, but they will not be able to track money transfer companies' vehicles, for an example.
Are they going to add reports or geofences, something like that?
Yes.
Or only, okay. Then there is no such possibility, because to create, for example, a report, you need to log into the monitoring interface.
We can keep it as just for the CMS user. Yeah, CMS users that can be able to create units when introducing the customer for the first time, querying all the units, update IMEs and so on, and just we will not know where is the vehicle to keep our customer privacy away from our support team, because it's very sensitive in business, by the way.
The only thing that comes to my mind is that you limit access to the monitoring interface for your support specialists. So you leave only CMS for them.
How can I do it?
Through the account properties, probably you can restrict the access to the monitor interface like this. For example, this is the manager's account where your support team lives. You go to the services, scroll down to the sites, and disable, for example, everything that has hostingwialon.com or your own domain if you're using one.
Yeah.
Like this, and leave only management interface. This one.
Okay.
So thus they will not be able to log into the monitor interfaces. If they will try, it will just return an error that access is denied. Not the password to login is incorrect, but access is denied, and they cannot log into the monitor interface, and they will only be able to use the management interface.
That would be good.
Yes, some more questions? I'm sorry, can you please speak louder?
In sub-account with dealer.
No, there is no possibility to create billing plans in any accounts except for the top one. So study can do it. Billing plans is available here, but nowhere else. Only you can create billing plans and then give a possibility to use them. Not edit, not create, but only use. Delete a user. There is a button for that in the user's interface. I'm sorry, in the users tab, users, and then you find one, for example, customer C1, and then just click on the delete button. But what happens here? Let me show. It says unable to delete a user that is the creator for some items. Maybe you faced a problem like that, and therefore you ask the question. There is no possibility to create a user who added a unit, for example, or created a resource or another account or something like that. Because if you try to delete such a user, the whole hierarchy is going to crash. Therefore, we do not allow to do it like that. And you first need to consider what this user created. Luckily for that, we have filters over there in the search field. You can find if a user is the creator of anything. Oh, it actually says, when you delete a user, it says, he is the creator of a unit. He is the creator of an account, something like that. And so you need to delete it first, one by one, and then a user should be deleted. Or another option, maybe like more effective, I don't know. You mean a user, delete a user? Yeah, I can do it. See what I'm doing? I select the customer C1. I'm right now in the accounts tab, and I'm deleting it. Okay, so there is no more user with the same name. Users, search, no, customer C1, done. No errors, because I deleted the whole account with all the content. So Mhm. It's possible, and there is no need to delete anything. You can change the name, you can change the password. So it's fine. Pretty easy. You just need to open the user's properties and put here the new name. That's it. For the account, the same works. You go to the account, change the name, and you have a new user. Of course, you need to change the password. Password can be added here. No need to know the old one.
Can we give access of that user to manager customer C1? Sorry.
Yes, it is possible. You can give access for users from different forks. So basically, you can give access from the bottom through the whole structure. Let me try to draw just a second.
My issue currently is that I've just started on Wialon local. So I now have a small number of clients, 10 clients, but they're all created in the top account. So I want to go into this correct hierarchy of having a sub-account, like this guy. And then, so what I want to do now is create that account and continue on the correct path, but I need to give access to my 10 accounts to my manager account.
So what you're saying, you will help me right now. So you have a top account here. Then you have your users on the second level, your customers on the second level. Okay, so let them be here. A couple of them. For example, customer number 1, customer number 2. So this is what you have right now. Then you are adding a manager's account. Manager's account. And you want to provide access? Yes, possible. But for that, you need to log into the top account because they are actually on the same level. And through the top account, you can say that the manager can do whatever he wants with the client number 1 and the client number 2. It is possible through the access rights. Just go to the users tab, find the user, manager, and give him access to the client number 1, client number 2. I can show it if you want. Okay. They are still on the same level. They are still on the same level. This person just gets access to it. That's it.
I want to give rights to the second manager account to create units from the first. The creator is the first manager account. I tried it and I couldn't make it work.
Okay, yes, this is the problem that I mentioned. So now we have 2 managers. Instead of 1, we have 2 managers. Is that correct? Okay, so now somewhere here another person appears. I'm sorry, I don't have space. Manager 1, manager 2, and you want that person to log in to the manager number 2, or vice versa. Yes, it is possible, but
I
let's
want to
first
give the rights to the second manager account to create units with the creator.
Manager 1.
Manager 1 is the creator of the units to the second manager. That's why I can give the technical guys rights to create units from our main hierarchy.
Right now, they are both on the same level.
Yes.
So this is the first issue, that they are basically, in terms of access rights and features, they are the same. And what you are saying is that manager 1 needs to have a possibility, create units as the manager 2. Is that correct?
Manager 2 to have rights to create units by the manager 1. Because
Okay, vice versa.
We use only one manager hierarchy, but I want to give another person rights to create units on the another account on the same level.
Okay, so you have one account and 2 users inside of it, and you want to be able, both of these users, to create units. It doesn't matter if you have 2 accounts, it doesn't matter if you have 2 users. What I told is that only one person can create units. So further to this structure, if we add some more accounts here, client 3, client 4, etc. Only one person can create units here. Manager 1. Only this person can create units for that account and for that account. And if you want to add more users to this account, for your support specialist, for example, then you need to give access rights toward a user. This is a bit complicated, but let me add. So we have admin here, admin. The first user that was created with the account, with the manager's account. He is the admin. And then you add more users for the staff. Support 1, support 2, etc. So this person, this is a user, not an account, should have access toward that guy, toward admin, to act as this user. And only then he can create units, only like that. And therefore I told that there are 2 problems. How to log everything, how to log the user sections, and basically create units. So you need to choose. Either you log everything somehow, either you are using only one username, password, and everybody are working through that person, through admin. The same goes for the separate accounts. If you want to add units, this is the main problem. If you want to add units, only that guy can do it.
Yeah, that's the problem. I have to create the units before that, give them some random name, then I give the rights to the second user to change only the name. And it's because he can create himself the units. This is the problem with it.
It is absolutely correct. That second guy cannot create units. Yes. But this is how it works. Only first person can do it. The option is you give access for a second user to log in as an admin, and then you lack the possibility to log the actions. Because when the support specialist, number 1, logs as an admin, you see all the changes in the logs as an admin. Admin entered, changed the settings of a unit, deleted something, and so on and so forth. So this is the problem. But this is the reality as well. Anything else? Any other questions with the support? Yes.
I got a question, sorry. So in the restrictions tab, right? When you restrict somebody by days, I live on the eastern coast of the United States, so when I limit somebody, say by 2 days, it blocks their account at 5 p.m. instead of midnight. Is there a way to change it?
This is a very complicated question. Probably no, not going to change that. But yes, I understand. It is, the blocking time is the same for the whole planet. And -1. Yeah, but it's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting question.
Where you can actually change it?
Maybe. frankly speaking, this is the first time I hear such a question. Pretty interesting. That yes, they're blocked.
Then change the settings from his account, his time zone to be 5 hours earlier, and then to kill it.
I'm sorry, didn't get it.
You want to stop the rights to that customer, but he's in USA. You said there are 5 hours difference. Doesn't matter. He's in GMT plus 5. Okay. You go log in as his in his user settings. You just simply say that he's not in his zone. He's in the zone you want to do it. And then
That one is tricky. You change the time zone, but then you have problems with the reports. Don't do it. But it's a good option. Yeah, just everybody are aware of what we are discussing right now. These are the options, block by days, and suggested solution was -1 to give some more time for users to work with their accounts. This it actually uses the server time, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, but the problem is that the server time is like 1 or 2 a.m. something like that. For one part of the world, it is 5 a.m. Maybe should be. Therefore, I told that this is a pretty interesting question, and I don't have an answer for that. I just know that it works for everybody at the same time. But never heard that before. Yes, anything else? Block by days. Oh, okay. Block by balance, limit by balance. Two different options. One completely blocks the access for users. The first one, block by balance. When you reach the limit, for example, if a user pays, makes a payment, and then there are $10 left, for example, on that account, it will be blocked. So there is no access to the interface. Monitor interface is not available. CMS is not available. But if you limit by balance, only a certain number of services will stop working. For example, like short messages, they won't be sent anymore. If you're using notifications with the certain short messages, a notification will be working, but an SMS won't be sent. So you kind of provide access to the interface. They can still log in. They can still see their units on the map, but not use some of the paid features. The paid features can be, the list of these features is actually available in the documentation. I don't remember exactly all of them. But of course, the first one that comes to my mind is an SMS. Anything else? Okay. 52 minutes. If you have any other questions, please feel free. If not, probably this is it. Yes, another question. Custom fields to add any possible information and anything. When this account owner birthday, for example, something like that. Anything that you want, you can add to the custom fields, and they are available in the units as well, and in the drivers. So you can add any kind of information. Sometimes there are even reports for that, so you can execute a report and get all the additional information. Just inherited. What do you mean inherited? Mm-hmm. You mean from the drop-down list? I don't know. No, probably no. It's a property of one account. Anything else? Okay, great. So if you have any other questions on the CMS interface and particular examples, please feel free to ask. You can join us or catch up with me in the office as well. Don't be afraid. I'm in the technical consulting department, and I changed my office, my room right now, so try to find me on the 9th floor. Or my colleague Oleg, he will be also answering your questions if you have anything on your mind about the CMS interface. By the way, Oleg is in the corner. Hello. So that's it, 54 minutes. Now you can probably change the room and visit another training session. Thank you.